Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Albums and Memories, where I talk about albums I have and the memories it gave me. Now we are going to talk about, in terms of this episode today, Sounding a Mosaic by Bedouin Soundclash and American Idiot by Green Day. Now we're going to start with Bedouin Soundclash's Sounding a Mosaic. Now, the reason why this album actually gives me so many memories is because it reminds me of like early high school. Now there is a blend of dub and reggae in this album, and honestly, it just reminds me of the summer of like the second half of grade 9. Like the memories it gave me was more like every time I was nervous, because in high school you are kind of nervous and everybody else just exuded confidence and I didn't. And this album just reminded me that I was pretty much like I could be okay because I had some sort of anxiety in terms of like it. And it's still in the CD. It's no longer not in the CD case because it's in the CD case um, in my quick look CD case. Um, but yeah, the memory that this gave me just reminds me of the winter during my exams, and every time I had exams, it was just one exam a day for exam week, and just every time I had an exam, we just go home and go home early. It was just one exam a day, and I just did it. Uh, so it was fine. But every time I ended up just coming home and everybody else was either asleep or out of the house, I just play my PS2 and I have this album like playing. Just memories. Just pretty much memories of this album just playing and while I'm playing the demo for Destroy All Humans. And occasionally I'll play Burnout 3. Very odd choices in like music in terms of video games and albums I played. I'll play this while I'm playing very dangerous, over the top, high octane video games. And like this is pretty much a pretty soft record. Like there's electronic instruments, sure. But yeah. But the reason why I bought this album was because well, the song When the Night Feels My Song, as I said before, first song I ever played first song I ever played on this album. And at one point, I actually attempted to play a lot of other things on this bass guitar, but nothing doing. It's, I mean, I know a few songs still. It's just that, like, nothing doing because my musical taste, like I said in the past, is all over the place. So you gotta forgive me for that. But yeah, my favorite bassist, Eon Sinclair, plays for this band. Eon Sinclair, been on Soundclash bassist since the beginning, and yeah, he inspired me to play the bass guitar. And one of my favorite songs I actually like to play or warm up to on here is a song called Criminal, which is actually a really smooth, like very reggae based and very dubbed sound, and it's like, oh my god, this is actually really interesting. And the song Jebrand, which a song before Criminal, just reminds me of just walking home during the winter and just singing to my that song to myself. And it's actually a really good song to listen to. It's it just brings me back to just so much about grade. It just reminds me of grade 9. Like I can't listen to this CD that much because it just reminds me of my anxieties in grade 9. I mean, this album did help me with like those anxieties. Like I was kind of quiet and it was like having a heart attack, and it just pretty much got to me. Those moments of anxiety just kept getting to me over and over again, and it overwhelmed me. But I'm just glad that just this is still with me, and it's actually doing very well in terms of that. Um, it like and it's produced by I think somebody from Bad Brains. Uh, God, I just miss listening to this album. It's just it does kind of hold. It pretty much does hold up. I haven't listened to this in a couple of years, but yeah, it actually does get to me in a sentimental way. The memories are strong with this album, mostly because of the songs. Like they stop giving me anxiety, and the fact that the bass player is my favorite bass player ever, and I will never forget it. So thank you, Bedouin Soundclash, and I really, really hope that people give them more credit in terms of like not just because of When the Night Feels My Song, but other songs are here, like Shadow of a Man, and Jazzy Went Home, and Rude Boy Don't Cry, and Music My Rock, and Nothing to Say. Nothing to Say is amazing. And so, yeah, this is actually a really good album. Just please, this is not as popular as I mean, it's not as popular as the next album I'm going to talk about, which is Green Day's American Idiot, which everybody knows. Everybody and their mom knows. This is how I knew about Green Day, other than Time of Your Life, but I don't think everybody knows that anyway. But this is one of the first rock songs I ever, like, the first rock song I pretty much ever heard was American Idiot. Like, I remember on the radio here, I heard the song for the first time, I'm like, oh my god, this is awesome! That was just me, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Then I heard the other songs like Jesus of Suburbia and Holiday and Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and like, oh my god, this is just great. This is just high octane, and like, oh my god. And yeah, I have the CD in here because I haven't listened to it in years, so whatever. And this came out when I was in grade 8, I'd like to say, or grade 7, and I didn't get it until I was in the beginning of high school. And I was just so excited because I kept asking in elementary school, play Holiday, play Holiday. And nobody listened. I'm like, oh god, come on, just play Holiday. And like nobody just did it. So I can play Holiday anytime I want on this or on my MP3. Wait, I never had the song Holiday. I never had Holiday on my MP3. I just listened to it on my phone or my CD. And this album just pretty much got to me. Like I'm like, oh my god, this is just amazing. This is over and over amazing. I'm like pretty much rocking like out loud. And at one point, I actually, like, speaking of bass guitars, I actually could play up to track 11 of this song on bass guitar. Like, at one point, I could play Jesus of Suburbia, like in high school, I could play Jesus of Suburbia all the way through without one mistake. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome. And I tried to play Homecoming, and then my interest kind of just drifted off, so I kind of know some of the songs, but yeah, only if I can practice. Like, I used to have the bass tabs of this entire album on an old computer in my room right here, but it's gone. Like the screen, the monitor's gone. The engine is still here, or whatever it's called, the power button, or whatever. But everything else is gone. Like the monitor is gone. Otherwise, I could have just refreshed my memory and just kept playing. Like, the monitor has been gone since 2014, I like to say, but yeah. So, this album actually pretty much is one of the only albums at that time where I could play nearly all the way through. Because it's not a very hard album to play on bass. It's a very good album, but it's not a very hard album to play on bass. And, oh my god. Just holding it right now. I got this when I was in grade 9, and it still feels new. Like, maybe it's because I actually matured and haven't constantly dropped my CD cases on the floor, damaging them, but yeah, this actually still feels really new, and holy crap. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but sometimes I think about the albums, but I don't really touch them until I have to do them on screen. I'm like, oh my god, this actually feels new. The memories are actually coming back. It feels cool in my hand, and it's pretty light, and yeah. But yeah, this actually features my third favorite bassist, which is Mike Dirnt, and my second favorite bassist is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but he's on everybody's wish list, but or top bassist list. But yeah, this is actually a really good album to enjoy and watch, and it's actually very good to see like a comeback album. Although this is not my favorite Green Day album, I talked positively about it. This is the first Green Day album I ever bought. Dookie came late second, but yeah, I already talked about that. But this album, like, not my favorite, not my favorite, but we'll get to my favorite eventually. I think I already mentioned my favorite in another video, because my scheduling here is all over the place. Like, my God. But yeah, this is actually a really good album. Everybody knows all the hits, but I suggest looking at everything else. And also with this, look at the other 99% of this album. It's actually really good if you like listen to like dub or reggae. Because one time my dad actually I was playing a video game. I think it was Shadow the Hedgehog, the demo for PS2, and my dad came in and he's like, "Wait, is this Bob Marley?" I'm like, "No, this is Ben on SoundCloud." He's like, "Oh," and yeah, that's how confused he kind of was because was kind of like there was Bob Marley influences there. So yeah, this album is doing something right if my dad, who grew up with Bob Marley, got confused for a minute. And so here they are, two entirely different albums, one light and like kind of optimistic in terms of sound, the other hard rock and edgier. And that's it for another episode of Albums and Memories, and I'll see you another time. Thank you.